الحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وفقها في الدين. وعن أبي هريرة رضي الله تعالى عنه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: من أدرك من الصبح ركعة قبل أن تطلع الشمس فقد أدرك الصبح، ومن أدرك ركعة من العصر قبل أن تغرب الشمس فقد أدرك العصر. متفق عليه. The Prophet of Allah telling us that whoever were able to pray or to reach a rak'ah from the faridah of the Asr, a rak'ah before the sunset, your salat will be considered as hadr, on time. So we said yesterday that you have the choice to pray in any moment of the 2 hours gap between the Asr and the Maghrib, or the Asr or the Dhuhr and the Asr. So you get to choose, you get to determine when to pray. But the best is to pray on time, like whenever the Dhuhr or the Asr or the time enter. But for some reason, if you fail to pray on time in the beginning of the time, and you only have, like I said, probably a minute left in before the sunset. So if you're able to pray one rak'ah, a full rak'ah from the Asr Faridah before the sunset, your Asr will be hadr. Good. And if you're able to pray a rak'ah before the sunrise of the Fajr or Salat al-Subh, you woke up late, and then if you're able to pray one rak'ah before the sun rises, your subh is on time. والله تعالى أعلم. خلافا للأحناف ولم ندخل في هذه القضية. وعن أبي سعيد الخدري رضي الله تعالى عنه قال: سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول: لا صلاة بعد الصبح حتى ترتفع الشمس، ولا صلاة بعد العصر حتى تغيب الشمس. The Prophet of Allah telling us here, there is no prayer could be offered after the Subh, Salat al-Subh, the prayer of the Subh, and after Salat al-Asr. We'll get deep into the details. So the last Salat, there is no prayer. That time, it's not for any prayer to be offered after the Salat al-Subh and after Salat al-Asr. In another hadith, وله عن عقبة بن عامر قال: 3 ساعات كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ينهانا أن نصلي فيهن أو أن نقبر فيهن موتانا. The Prophet of Allah, the Uqbah ibn Amr, he said, we were prohibited to offer a prayer during 3 times, or even to bury our dead, or to pray the janazah during 3 times. حتى تطلع الشمس بازغة حين تطلع الشمس بازغة حتى ترتفع. During the sun rises till the ulama, they said, until the sun actually rises قدر رمح أو رمحين, it's about 20 minutes. 20 minutes after the sun rises. So in that 20 minutes from the sunrise, from the beginning of the sunrise, the 20 minutes, that time, you're not allowed to pray anything during that time. Remember when I said if you're able to drink rak'ah, if you're able to pray rak'ah before the sun rises, your salat is good. Here the Prophet of Allah telling us that you cannot pray. And the second time, وَحِينَ تَقُومُ الظَّهِيرَةِ, the second time that you're not allowed to pray, it's at noon, when the sun right in the middle of the sky. At noon. So you're not allowed to pray. That's the second time. And حين تميل الشمس وحين تضيف الشمس للغروب حتى تغرب, and during sunset. So now we have 5 times. We have after Salat, you can help me out here to see that your gaze away. After Salat al-Fajr, you're not allowed. After Salat al-Asr, that's it. It was mentioned in one hadith. Now the second hadith, there was a 3 extra time that we're not allowed to pray in them?
Sunrise.
Afternoon.
During the sun rises?
And afternoon.
Mid.
And
then the sunset. Now, let's go deep to the detail. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم اتفق العلماء جميعا أنه يجوز قضاء الفوائد. يجوز قضاء الفوائد. If you miss the dhuhr, you're allowed to pray the dhuhr qada'an after asr. Some of us, they missed so many years of praying, right? So the best thing to do it, so every time you pray asr, then you pray another asr qada'an to make up for what you lost, right? If you pray dhuhr, another farida dhuhr. Now, if you miss so many years and you get used to do every salat asr, you do another salat asr qada'an for what you missed for the past years. So you're allowed to pray the farida here. You're allowed to pray qada'an even after salat الصبح. القضاء الفرائض متفق عليها بين العلماء كلهم. فيك تصليها بعد العصر وفيك تصلي فيه بعد الصبح. متفق عليه. اختلفوا بالنوافل. They have so many different opinions about the optional prayer that you offer. Now, if you used to pray Sunnat al-Dhuhr, let's say Sunnat al-Dhuhr mu'akkada, we all agree, right? For some reason you missed Sunnat al-Dhuhr. You missed. You pray Dhuhr here and you must leave immediately after the Dhuhr to work, and then on the Asr he said, you know what, I forgot to pray Sunnat al-Dhuhr. You're allowed to pray it after the Asr qada'an. You're allowed to. Because the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, one day he was offering a prayer at his home, and Salama told him, what kind of prayer that you offer, O Prophet of Allah, after Asr? He said, قال هي سنة أتاني وفد فانشغلت عنها. A group of people, they came to visit me, and I wasn't able to pray that sunnah. So the Prophet of Allah, he offered qada'an after Asr. So any qada, you're allowed to offer after Asr. That's clear here. Any qada, you're allowed to pray it after subh. We're clear. You came here, you entered the masjid, the imam is already praying the fajr, no time for sunnat al-fajr, no time for it. So you immediately you begin your prayer with the imam. After the salat, you're allowed to pray sunnatul al-fajr qada'an after the farida. Qada'an, it's not time. You're making up for it. You missed it. It's time before the fajr. You missed to pray before the fajr, you pray it after the fajr. Sunan, yes, there is. There is a time, and it's time before the fajr. When you pray in the sunnah after, it's not time. It's not its time anymore. You missed the time of it. You missed the time of it. Now, the optional sunan, اسمعوا. The optional sunan. الحنابلة قالوا بحرمة النوافل بعد أوقات النهي. So according to Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, it is haram to offer any optional sunan during these 5 times. After Fajr, after Asr, during sunrise, and during the sunset, and at noon. It is haram. Why it's haram? Pay attention. The first hadith, النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال لا صلاة بعد العصر والنفي يفيد النهي. There's no prayer. It's like exactly the Prophet of Allah telling you, do not pray. Do not pray after Asr, and do not offer any salat after Fajr. So this is the order of the Prophet of Allah. And the second hadith that Uqbat ibn Amir, he said, we were prohibited to pray. We were forbidden to pray or to offer any prayer during 3 times. So the Prophet of Allah actually told him not to offer a prayer during the 5 times. So الحنابلة قالوا بالحرمة. It is haram. It is haram. So you enter the masjid here. 6:30. The Fajr, the time of Fajr already begins, right? Even if you haven't prayed the Fajr yet, the time already begins. So you have that choice. To sit because there is no prayer, or you can take the opinion of Imam al-Shafi'i, Sunnah Tahiyat al-Masjid will be exempted and you're allowed to pray Sunnah Tahiyat al-Masjid, and then you sit. So that time it's only good for Sunnah al-Fajr. You enter the masjid, you only allowed to pray Sunnah al-Fajr before the prayer. Al-Malikiyya قالوا حرام بعد الأوقات الثلاثة. Imam Malik said it is haram to offer any optional prayer during sunrises, sunset, at noon. حرام. مكروه تنزيها بعد العصر والفجر. It's disliked to offer any optional prayer after Asr and after Fajr. الشافعية قالوا مكروه تحريما, to offer any prayer after the sunset, sunrise, sun or noon. ومكروه تنزيها بعد الوقتين, and it's disliked to offer any optional prayer after Asr, after Subh. الحنفية قالوا مكروه تحريما بجميعها. So the bottom line between, if you confused for some? No. We'll summarize it. Now we know that the majority of the fuqaha, the bottom line, they said مكروه تحريما. مكروه تحريما أن تصلي عند غياب الشمس وعند شروق الشمس عندما تكون الشمس في وسط السماء وبعد صلاة العصر وبعد صلاة الفجر. مكروه تحريما. مكروه تحريما. That's because that's all the majority of the scholars, they said مكروه تحريما, to offer any optional prayer. Now what happened if you prayed? قالوا لا تنعقد السنن. لا تنعقد السنن. Even if you try to pray, if it's haram, that means that your salat is not valid. Your salat is not valid during the 5 times. لا تنعقد. خلافا للشافعي رحمه الله. الشافعي mentioned that if you made a covenant with Allah Azza wa Jal that you want to pray tomorrow, if Allah Azza wa Jal saved your son, you're going to pray 4 rak'at at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock after Asr. And during summer, right? Summertime after Asr. Okay? You're allowed to pray. Because this is another covenant. Okay? You enter the masjid, you're allowed to pray Sunnah Tahiyat al-Masjid. You're making tawaf, you're allowed to pray in the haram, even if it was after Asr. لأن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال يا بني عبد مناف لا تمنعوا أحدا طاف بهذا البيت وصلى أية ساعة شاء من ليل أو نهار. O people of Abd Manaf, do not tell no one not to pray after the tawaf or in the haram in any time that he want to. Day or night. Not forbids no one from offering any prayer in the haram day or night. So there's some exception there. So, but what do? Then we have so many problems. People, they enter the masjid, they pray after Asr. And if you even get close to them to tell them, you're dead. Right? Before you even tell someone, you're not allowed to pray at this time, ask him, what are you praying? You gotta save your neck, buddy. So before you curse me and tell me, oh, you know what, the Prophet Allah said not to pray, ask him, what are you praying? He could be saying, oh, you know what, I'm doing al-dhuhr qada'an, or asr qada'an, or tahiyyat al-masjid. You have no right whatsoever to tell him that he's not allowed to pray, because he's praying according to the sunnah. Now if you say, you know what, I just like to pray after Asr, then you know what, brother, the majority of the scholars, they said makruh tahriman, to offer any optional prayer. And that will be a beginning of conversation. You know what? You have a good starting point with them. But if you're going to begin with, you're not allowed to pray during this time, most likely he's not going to listen to you. So you have to know what to say and how to say it. قال لا تقل ما لا يعنيك ولو وجدت له مكانا ولا تقل ما يعنيك حتى تجد له مكانا. Do not say what doesn't concern you, even if you have the right to say it. It doesn't concern you. And do not say what concerns you until you find the time and the tools to say it. Sometimes it will be your business to say, right? الأمر بالمعروف, it's your business. But you know what? I mean, you're not going to be able to say it. The guy is angry now. So if someone is angry, you're not going to even get close to him to tell him, you know what, Salli ala Nabi. Because you're going to curse the Nabi. Leave him alone. Don't even interfere with him. Walk away. Find another time. Find another time. So, so inshallah, now we still have Sunnat al-Fajr. Sunnat al-Fajr. You have the option of either you pray the Sunnah after the Fajr, or you wait till after the sun rises. Because it's qada anyway. It is qada anyway. You miss its time. It's time before the Fajr. It's not before the Fajr. Now it's qada'an. If you know that you're going to be, that for sure 100% you're not going to miss the Sunnat al-Fajr when you go home, then it pray better for you to pray it after the sun rises. Because the Prophet of Allah told not to pray anything after Salat al-Fajr. Right? Because he said don't pray. There's an exception for it, but that exception could be wrong. So better for you to save yourself from the dispute. You're allowed to... Go ahead.
There is another exception for Salat al-Istikhara.
It is Salat al-Istikhara. Salat al-Istikhara. Ayat al-Tilawa. So Ayat al-Tilawa. You recite in Quran. After any time you can make sujood. Salat al-Istikhara anytime. Salat Sunnat al-Tawaf anytime. We're talking about the optional prayer. That's هذه تسمى ذوات الأسباب. ذوات الأسباب, there's a reason for it. You're allowed to pray it anytime. ذوات الأسباب. We're talking about the optional, something that you like to add. You want to pray more. So try after Salat al-Fajr not to pray anything until after the sun rises. So that's from the time the Fajr begin until the sun rises at noon. And noon, there's another problem. Just bear with me here. When we enter the Jumu'ah, most people they pray waqtul karaha at 12 o'clock. Waqtul karaha, 12 o'clock at noon. Then you're not allowed to offer any prayer. You're not allowed to. Right?
ونصلي ركعتين السنة وانت بتخطب.
شيء ثاني. So سنة الجمعة والله تعالى أعلم. With my due respect to all the scholars, even I know Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Shafi'i, they mention there's a sunnah qabliya for the Jumu'ah, but والله تعالى أعلم there's no sunnah. Wallahu ta'ala alam. That's because the Prophet of Allah used to leave his home and quickly he go up to the minbar without offering any prayer. Wallahu ta'ala alam. But we're not going to make a big deal if you see people they're praying there. Don't tell them nothing, and if they don't pray, don't tell them nothing. Just leave that issue on the side. We have so many issues to worry about other than the sunan. نختلف على السنن ووحدة المسلمين فرض. We'll make a big deal over the sunan, but the unity of the ummah is faridah. So why are we so worried about the sunnah and we losing the faridah of the unity of the ummah? Ask Allah Azza wa Jal to... Go ahead.
Sheikh, so the majority of the opinion is we have to make up for the fourth salah that we have missed since we became adults.
With the exception of Imam Ibn Taymiyyah.
So my question is
yes.
The majority of the scholars. We have to make up for the fourth salah that we have missed in our lives.
Yes, because the Ibn Taymiyyah قال عقابا له لا يقضى والله تعالى, but the majority of the scholar, whatever you missed, دين في رقبتك, you must make up for it. The majority of the scholar, والله تعالى أعلم.
هذا في واحد شافنا في محاضرة على الصلاة وما الصلاة، فقال أنا أصلي ليش يا أخي؟ أنا أروح على مكة أصلي 5 روضات 5 فرائض بعمري.
بالعمر كله دناه سبحان الله. Any question before we go ahead?
I didn't understand, like, I think there was like one hadith which is Sunnat al-Taqririyah, when the Prophet ﷺ, one person get up and pray after they pray Fajr. So when he asked him, he said that he didn't pray Sunnah before him, so then he didn't say nothing after that. So that means it's makruh to do it at that time.
The makruh what?
After Fajr.
I don't recall this hadith. I have to look. You heard it? You heard it? ما هو يا أخطار?
صحابي اسمه قيس something. He prayed 2 rak'at after Fajr.
Okay.
And after Salat al-Subh. And the Prophet told him, like, what was that, ya Qais? And he said that were those 2 rak'at that I missed before. And the Prophet kept silent, which means that you are allowed to
You're allowed to
pray. Not what you mentioned.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. You're allowed to pray it. It would be better for you to leave it till after sun rises, just to get yourself out of the ikhtilaf. But you're allowed to pray Sunnat al-Fajr after the Faridah. Allah Ta'ala.
Brother, it's supposed to be, if we miss the Fajr Salah, so after sunrise we can make first 2 rak'ah Sunnah and 2
Qada'an.
rak'ah
Sunnah with the first.
Sunnah.
Yes.
We don't miss or direct 2 rak'ah Salat al-Fajr.
No, Sunnah and the Fajr لا تقضى لأنه أحد العلماء قال لا تقضى سنة الفجر إلا ما فواتها مع الفريضة.
So after sunrise.
After sunrises. Yes.
2 rak'ah Sunnah, 2 rak'ah
قضاء الصبح بعد طلوع الشمس.
But every after
With the Sunnah.
all five prayers, Qadai Umri, what we miss the Salat last 5 years, 10 years.
Yeah.
So every Salat we have to pray after the first. After the Salat.
After the Fard. Yes, you do the Fard first and whatever you missed.
Irrespective Salat Asar, Salat Maghrib.
Yes. Yes. Yes.